Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. My name is Ross Benjamin of rbwins.com, and it is Wednesday, February the 15th. Only 2 weeks left in February. That means March Madness is getting close. In any event, I'm pleased to be joined by my friends and colleagues and great handicappers and Mr. Jesse Shule of jesseshule.com and Sean Higgs of picksandparleys.net. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing great, Ross.
Sean, I'm not used to you not chiming in by now and going on some rant, but how are you, my friend?
No rant. I'm all right. What are we gonna do? It's
Yeah.
Super Bowl, no more NFL. That's it. We have apparently though there's XFL or something coming up. Is that what I saw?
I guess.
Listen, don't expect any commentary from me on that.
No.
Don't forget about the CFL, guys. I call it the poor man's pigskin.
Yeah, well, the CFL, there's guys like Jesse who grew up in Western Canada have a lot of knowledge when it comes to that. So hey, a bet one should never be passed up, and Jesse does awful well in the CFL. You don't do anything in the CFL, do you, Sean?
Nah, not really. I don't know enough about it. That like soccer, MMA, like things. I don't know it. I'm not gonna.
No,
it's hard enough just trying to win with like 350 college teams.
Yes.
For basketball and then football. So I don't pretend. I'll say, hey, I'll leave to somebody else. Somebody ask me, like, I don't know. I'll steer somebody to somebody who knows their stuff. I'm not.
Well, Jesse's a perfect example. He's a big soccer guy, does awfully well. And I also, like you, Sean, don't dabble into anything I don't know a lot about. I mean, I will say one exception for me is the NHL. I love handicapping the NHL. I stopped doing it during the year because during the regular season, because there just isn't enough money there for the amount of time that you put in the NHL, meaning sales wise. And some guys do well, but it's few and far between with the NHL. But I would do ramp it up during the playoffs. And like Sean, I'm a mainstream guy, but Jesse does do the CFL. He does do soccer. So something you want to look into if you like anything in the Premiership, the EPL, and other major leagues in Europe. You cover all the major leagues, right? In Europe, the Serie A,
Champions League, Spanish League, Italian, German. I will say, Ross, the last 3 days, my last 3 soccer matches, I predicted the exact final score in all 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you something for soccer. And this is why when people ask me, they'll come into like midday morning, like, oh, yeah, it's soccer today. I'm like, soccer. Like if I'm talking like La Liga or Premier or something, I'm like, one, it's in a different language. Like, how am I supposed to find out what's going on in like some Italian league? I don't, you know what? I got to go to like Google Translate for like the people playing, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't even. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Well, Sean, the British speak English quite well.
They're not real
Americans might debate that, but I have no trouble understanding the British, and they cover all those leagues quite extensively.
Listen, we kicked them out of this joint like 200 years ago. I got no love for the British. Goodbye, British. I don't care about British. You got crappy fish and chips. Your beer is okay. I mean, and you got Austin Powers. What do we really talk about? I know Manchester.
Austin Powers? Do you know where he's from, really, Sean?
He's Canada. He's Canadian, Mike Myers.
Yeah, he's Canadian. Yeah, that's right.
I'm just trying to make a joke. We got to go a little funny here with Austin Powers. But Austin, it was just on the other day. That's why I had to bring it up. I was dying.
I'm a big fan as well.
He was, speaking real fast, and we'll get to what people want to talk about basketball. Have you ever seen So I Married an Axe Murderer with him?
I believe I have.
Oh, man, he's funny. He's a funny guy.
Mike Myers. Well, so are you, Sean. In any event,
I'm sorry, I go off the rails sometimes. You're like, oh, there's no rant, and all of a sudden I start talking about Mike Myers movies.
That's okay. We got to entertain too, folks. So be patient with us at times. We say what comes to our mind, and look, we're human. Okay, it's like 3 guys sitting at the bar that know what they're talking about in the world of sports betting, but once in a while you spiral off into another topic area, and next thing you know, you're 10 minutes into the conversation. We can't afford to do that here because our time is limited, but in any event, we got 3 really good college basketball games we're covering to go this evening. Alabama and Tennessee, Xavier in Marquette, and also TCU and Iowa State. And, I didn't speak to you guys since I spoke to Jesse, but we didn't really touch upon it on yesterday's show. But all 3 of us together since the Super Bowl took place. And I'm going to give you guys, I've already stated everything I'm going to state on the Super Bowl on this channel. But I'll give you guys a chance to comment.
Sean?
All right. So I had Casey in the under. Under was dead in the second quarter. I hit some nice props in that. But let's just talk about the end of the game. People are like, oh, the holding. Folks, why the heck did it even come down to that play? That's what I say. Whenever a team blows it, and I joke like Kansas City, never in doubt on the money line, easy winner. Any game that you're worried about one hold, they called a penalty here. But why did it get there? How are you blowing double-digit leads in the Super Bowl with this defense? We got 70 sacks. You didn't sack the cat once all game. I don't want to hear about one play. Make a stop, defense. You had the entire second half to make a stop. You couldn't make one. And again, Super Bowl, some random bowl game. This could be Eastern Michigan versus Marshall in a non-conference game in September. Make a stop, defense, and it doesn't get to the ref's going to call a penalty. We get hosed. Make a stop. That's it. Make a stop. I don't want to hear about it. Make a stop, defense.
Jesse,
you couldn't make a stop all game. You killed my under. Make a stop just once, and you're not worried about a hold call, which was clearly a hold call.
Are you done?
Yes.
All right. Jesse, your thoughts, buddy.
I'll make it quick. I split. I had the right side. I had the wrong total. I went 7-1 overall with props, and I'm including the props I gave out on this show and other shows. My paying clients got my 3 top props at the bottom of both my side and total analysis. I just pasted it in there for them because, as you guys know, a lot of these sites don't offer props, so you have to just put it in the analysis. But I know that they appreciated them because they told me they did, and all 3 of them won. 7-1 with props, 1-1 with side and total. Successful Super Bowl. Can't ask for anything more. Oh, and plus 800 on Joe Burrow to lead the league in passing. Certainly that helps.
Well, we appreciate you, Jesse. I think I could speak for Sean when I say that. And your customers should appreciate you because your record's been phenomenal, especially since the beginning of the calendar year in 2022. Sean's not too bad himself. Great college basketball handicapper. You're looking at 3 guys who do all the mainstream sports, and then Jesse, of course, he dabbles into all the major soccer leagues in Europe. You don't touch anything with the MLS, do you, Jesse?
I do.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely do. Yeah.
All right. So there you have it, folks. If you're a soccer fan, you want to make some money watching soccer, I predict every game will end up 1-0 through the end of the year, and probably hit 50% on those bets. Anyway, all right, let's move. And I played college soccer, by the way. It's just that unless it's the World Cup or an international friendly that I'm interested in watching, I could care less. Anyway, let's get on to college basketball. And we'll start with Jesse. You're going to be covering the Alabama and Tennessee game. And it's going to be Alabama. That's at Tennessee. So go ahead, Jesse. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big game. It's a monster game, and it looks a little bit suspicious. I'm going to focus on the total. I got the number of 144.5, and I'm looking at the under. If I had to take a side, I'd probably lean toward Bama just because I wouldn't want to lay points with a Vols team that has lost 3 of their last 4. They did score 85 points in the home loss to Missouri in their last game. But before that, they averaged just 55 points per game in their previous 3 games. If you look at the history between the 2 teams, Alabama won the last meeting by a score of 73-68 at home, December of 2021, which is kind of uncanny because they won by the exact same score in the meeting before that, also in Alabama back in March of 2021. The under has actually hit in 9 straight meetings between these two teams. And the highest total they've combined to score is 141 points, which was those two 73-68 scores in their last two meetings. This total looks like it should probably be right around 141, but it's at 144.5. This Tennessee team, great defense at home. Not a great offense. This Tennessee team struggles to score at times. So the under is 18-4 in Tennessee's last 22 games versus a team with a winning record. I'm expecting it to be a low-scoring game here.
Yeah, and Alabama, one of the better defensive teams in the country. I mean, they get a lot of accolades for their offensive prowess, but if you look at their defensive analytics, they're right up there with the best of college basketball. Sean, Tennessee to me is a team that I've been watching over the last couple weeks now, and I think they're destined for an early exit in the NCAA tournament. They'll probably get a high seed. They may get by in the first round, but I think they're going to struggle to make a run. Yes, they play terrific defense, but like Jesse just alluded to, they struggle to score at times. Sometimes they can't just put the ball in the ocean, for crying out loud. And we've seen that, especially when they step up in class against really good teams in the SEC, and even outside of the conference. Yeah, they did put up that 85 spot against Missouri, but Missouri, their style of play is conducive to a higher tempo game. And Missouri, probably not, if not the worst, one of the worst defensive teams inside the SEC. And a lot of that's predicated on the tempo which they play at.
I think Missouri scored like 15 points in the first half yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. They just lost, and they lose to that. They allowed that team to score 80 points on them.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I like Alabama here, and it really kind of goes against what I think when I see like the number one team is a underdog on the road, and the line has gone up.
Yeah.
But like Jesse, how do you bet on a team? They lost 3 of 4. They scored the 85 against Missouri, 54 versus Florida, 65 versus Vandy, stepping up in class, 56 points in a loss versus Kentucky. They got the Texas win, which was nice, an old coach, kind of like a rivalry kind. Their other wins recently, who are they beating? LSU, Georgia, not good teams. Favored in their last 4, no covers there. Again, you beat Texas. Before that, nobody. Step up in class. Yeah. I can't lay points with that either. Give me Alabama. Until you see a bad performance. How are you betting on a team that's lost 3 or 4? I can't bet on losing teams. I just can't.
Especially a team that
as a favorite versus a good team that hasn't really wet the bed much this season.
And you're facing a very good offensive team in Alabama too. I mean, Tennessee, obviously at this point, it's no secret their success goes hand in hand with their stifling defensive play. But at some point against teams that you're not going to hold everybody in the 50s. Okay. That's especially when you get to the NCAA tournament, especially when you go against quality teams, you're going to be able to do that on occasion, especially if you catch a team on an off day. Okay. But you're going to have the capability of winning games in the high 60s and low 70s against quality opposition, that is. And I don't see this Tennessee team being able to do that on a consistent basis. And as we both know, when it comes to the NCAA tournament, it's a one and done status. So you can't afford many errors there. Okay, Sean, take it away. Xavier, Marquette.
Yeah, so Marquette's a 5.5 point favorite. Total's 160. Big total, which is not really shocking the way Xavier's been playing lately. Battle for the top of the Big East, 12-3 for Marquette, 11-3 for Xavier. I'm going to lean to the home team here. And it's a bigger number. I get it. And it might be like, wow, Xavier's a pretty good team. Okay. But, I look at them and I see them losing on the road to Butler, Creighton, DePaul, and you got a 3-point win against UConn. So you lost 3 of them. You barely won another. I got revenge from a January loss. And I've seen Marquette at home destroy Baylor by 20-something points. They beat Creighton by 11. You beat UConn here. They don't slide down. And again, you want to look at the over. I get it. Xavier, good shooting team, 50% from the field, probably one of top 2 or 3 3-point shooting teams. The line to me says it is Marquette all day long at 5.5. Don't be fooled like, oh, it's Xavier's pretty good. And, they'll bounce back from a Butler loss. I don't think they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
I don't bet on bouncing back. I bet on what I've seen, and I see a loss. I see an overtime win. I see another loss. You beat St. John's, who is just a mess themselves, and the road play. College, I've said this on every show with Jesse here and just with you. You see teams going on a road, getting a couple points. You think this is a good play. They lose the home and home series. This isn't an Alabama team versus a team that shoots 50, scores 50 points a game. Marquette's already beaten very good teams at home. And I got Xavier maybe in a little funk. I'm going to lay the 5.5.
Yeah, I mean, Xavier bouncing back. I would like that scenario more if they were playing at home.
Yes.
Both of these teams have extremely strong home courts this year. Xavier's had a strong home court for many years now. But, it's a moot point. They're playing on the road. So, Sean, he likes Marquette in this game. He's going to lay the 5.5 over Xavier. And
Jesse's against me.
Jesse is going to comment further on this Xavier Marquette.
Ross, I don't want to be rude, but our viewers have insisted that there's no X in Xavier.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We got an alumni. Yeah, an alumni who
I let it slide in the last show.
Yeah.
I let it slide in the last show, but I know the viewers are gonna lose their marbles if I let it slide again.
Yeah. Sometimes I do my show, Javier.
Okay, so Xavier. All right.
I'm with Sean. I think that this one's not going to make my premium card. And I think Sean said it when he said the line 5.5, kind of a big number. I mean, it's the right line. It looks the total and the line look accurate to me. So therefore I'm not seeing a lot of advantage in it. But if you made me make a pick for this game, it would have to be on the home team. Marquette's just too good at home. They score a ton at home. Maybe they win by double digits. I wouldn't be jazzed up about laying the 5.5, but I would do it if I had to.
Well, if you like up-tempo basketball, this is the game to watch. Marquette and Xavier. Don't lose sleep about it, Mr. Alumni. Man, we got more important things to worry about than Xavier or Xavier. Come on, whatever the case may be. With all due respect, I'll say it right, though. So Sean likes Marquette minus 5.5 over Xavier. Jesse likes Alabama and Tennessee under the total of 144.5. He thinks that total should be around 141. And even then he would contemplate taking an under with everything being said. All right, I'm TCU at Iowa State. Two teams that are struggling right now. Something's got to give. The main reason why TCU has struggled for the most part is because they've been missing their point guard, Mike Miles, who averages over 18 points per game. Since he's gone down with an injury, they've gone 0-3 in the last 3 without him. TCU's also gone 0-3 in their last 3 and 1-5 in their last 6 true away games, while Iowa State's coming off their first home loss of the year against Oklahoma State on Saturday, 12-1 on their home court. Iowa State, some very impressive defensive numbers here, folks. According to Ken Palm, all within Big 12 conference play. This team is number 1 in defensive efficiency in the Big 12, number 9 nationally, too. Number 1 in forcing turnovers, number 1 in three-point shooting, number 1 in defensive rebounding. TCU, they say the great equalizer in college basketball for an underdog is the ability to hit three-point shots at a high percentage. Well, TCU is number 357 in the country in three-point shooting percentage. There's only 363 teams playing Division I basketball, by the way. So I just think Iowa State coming off that home loss, playing again at home with a 12-1 home record, and TCU's had the struggles on the road, especially within conference play. I'm going to like Iowa State here, and I am going to lay the 4 with Iowa State over TCU. So your thoughts, guys?
Okay, well, what I want to know is, what did you get, Ross? Was it 3.5 or 4?
4, I got 4, yeah.
4. So what would it be if Mike Miles was playing? Because Iowa State is 12-1 at home. They got the superior record overall. They look like a 4-point favorite to me, regardless of who's playing for. TCU. So you take away their best player, their leading scorer, their point guard, their floor general, and that doesn't affect the spread. To me, it's not affecting the spread at all.
Well,
so
let me, if I can interject, and that's a great point, Jesse. I'm glad you brought that up. Mike Miles is listed right now as a game time decision, according to the reports out of the Fort Worth newspaper. He's well ahead of schedule in terms of recovery. He had a hyperextended knee. He did practice yesterday. So going hand in hand in what you're saying, Jesse, it would lead us to believe there's a good possibility he's going to play tonight.
That's not the angle I was going with, because I've bet against TCU in their last 3 games that they lost because he hasn't played. And it's appeared to me in all 3 of those games that the bookmakers didn't move the line enough to compensate for the fact. And what I actually saw was TCU won at home. I believe they beat Oklahoma State, or it was a team, another mediocre Big 12 team that without him in their very first game without him, they actually won.
Yeah, West Virginia, the West Virginia.
Okay, yeah, West Virginia, which is a team that's terrible on the road, right?
Yeah.
So then people might have thought that, oh, well, they're going to be fine without him. Well, not so much. You've seen what's happened since. They've been brutal without him. And yeah, I think even if he does play, if he doesn't play 25 minutes, and I don't expect it. If he plays, I don't expect him to play 25 minutes and score 20 points.
Higgs.
I actually took TCU last night at +4.5. And regardless of these guys playing, it's just one of those spots. I have both teams playing poorly. They're both lost 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the points. The Cyclone defense, really good to start. Like, these guys were in like the top 10 at one point. They were kind of high. Now they've, you start losing a couple games, you give up 80, 78, 76, 70, start giving some points. The defense doesn't look as good, and you start losing games a lot, 4 or 5. I'm going to take the ugly TCU side just because maybe these guys play, because the rebounder was out too for the Horned Frogs. But even if they play, like I said, they're not coming in. This isn't guys coming in playing 35 out of 40 minutes. They're going to work their way back in rotation. They haven't, anything's better than nothing, I guess. But 4.5 just seems, as I said, just a little high based on what we've seen at TCU. They've looked flat out bad without their guard in there, and yet the line is what it is. Maybe he plays. I mean, I don't expect him hyperextended me. I'm not a doctor. It's a knee problem. You're going to come back in. How good and how effective and time wise going to play?
I would not be shocked. I think this may be an accurate line based on the fact that they think Miles is going to play by all indications. Okay, and B.
They both, him and Lumpkin both had full practice yesterday.
So. Right. So, and B, I think that if he is a last minute cut, I mean, they're not going to take the floor for warm-ups with him in it and he's not playing. So I would say keep an eye on this line, especially an hour before or 2 hours before, to see if there's any line movement. If we don't see any line movement here, I'm going to assume he's playing. Again, I'm not a doctor either. But Iowa State is, they're a high-ranked team. They haven't shown it of late. They've only lost once at home. They give up 54 points at home. And I think their Achilles heel, if there's any, is they're great defensively. They're number 1 in the Big 12, believe it or not, in three-point shooting at 36.5%. As good as the Big 12 is, guys, it's not a very good three-point shooting conference from top to bottom. They do a lot of things well. It's the strongest conference in America, unequivocally, in my mind. But so interesting. I like your take too, Sean. I'm going to go the opposite way, though. I'm going to take Iowa State here -4 over TCU. Also, Jesse likes. He's on the under 144.5 in the Alabama-Tennessee game. Xavier in Marquette. Sean likes Marquette -4.5. Folks, these games are all on TV. The Bama-Tennessee game, ESPN2. Xavier Marquette, CBS Sports Network, and TCU and Iowa State on ESPNU. All right, guys, final thoughts before we go. Jesse, how you been doing of late? What you got coming up?
I am 70-42, 65%, up 19,190 units overall in 2023. So I'm feeling pretty good. I did mention that I successfully predicted the exact final score in 3 straight soccer matches. Pretty pleased with myself. As you can see, I'm real happy with myself. I got 3 college basketball games going off today. You can get all 3 of them at jesseshul.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at jesseshul.
Hey, there you go, jesseshul.com. This guy's a winner. He's been doing it consistently. Former handicapper over at covers.com, which was the pinnacle of all spots you could be as a sports handicapper for a long time. They no longer sell picks. And now he's on sites with us at picksandparleys.net, sportsmemo.com, sportscapping.com. All 3 of us you can find at those 3 sites. Sean, yourself, buddy, I know college basketball is your cup of tea. You're a big volume handicapper at this time of year. And how you been doing of late and what you got coming up?
All right. Well, you can find me, Mr. Sean Higgs, on Twitter, and just go to any search engine there. Find a Midday Money show. It's live 7 days a week. And the late night show has been back too. Late night money. Because we got conference tournaments up at 2 weeks. So
yeah,
nonstop. And I'm not as glorious as Jesse's year to date. I am actually 198 and 185 for a 52% clip. I'm actually down $65. Very rare you're going to find a guy come on here and tell you he's actually down money. I lose sometimes. You bet 300 games, you might have a couple losers. I've had a couple. It is what it is. What am I going to say? You know,
how'd you do with NFL, Sean, real quick?
NFL, I don't know, not that good. I'm not a good season. You know, that's over with. I can't dwell in the past with my my great NFL season.
Boy, oh boy, talking about raining on somebody's promotions. Holy cow, Jesse. Anyway.
I get it. I had a good NFL season, and Kyle's just, it is what it is for the start of the year. 52%. I'm not. It's yeah. What am I gonna do? It's
okay.
We win, we lose. I can't win all the time.
How did you do in the NFL, Jesse? I think that's what you're getting at.
No, that's not what I was getting at.
I was waiting for your
number so one much in the NFL. He could lose for the rest of the year and still be up money because he won so much this NFL season. I believe Sean literally had twice as many units as the number 2 guy at every site he was on.
Well, there you go. When you're
I'll hit myself about that. There was on any of the sites, all of them. I mean, like the Sports Memo page, whatever. No one was close. I'll say that. I mean, I'll give myself. We can say now the season's over. Yay, yeah. But
Jesse was number 1 at Sports Memo. Okay, he's just not the volume handicapper that you are. But you both, in your own rights, had fantastic years. I did finish a little. In the profit margin in the NFL, nowhere near as good as these guys. My college football bowl season was great, 13-4, finished with a winning record in college football as well. Right now, I've been struggling. Had a talk with Jesse about this yesterday after the show. We all go through this since Friday. I went on a 6-month run from August 10th on that I was making pretty good money for all my clients and myself. And starting on Friday, I've gone, I believe, 4-14. Last night, a 1-1. But one thing that stayed consistent, even through this rough patch, is my college basketball totals. I cashed again last night with the Kansas game going over the total against Oklahoma State, went over by 20. I'm now 26-11 with my last 37 college basketball totals, which is good for 70%. And so there you have it, folks. I beat on my chest when I win, like we all do. And I'm also transparent when I lose. And you'll find the other 2 guys that I'm talking to right now are also transparent in that regard whenever that occurs. And hopefully that doesn't occur anytime soon for you guys.
Listen, I think people are so used to seeing like crazy winning tickets on Instagram or TikTok, whatever crap. You're losing this. And what separates like the pro people or whatever you want to call us, you have to be able to ride out that loss. Like a 4-14 is not going to kill me or you. A 3-30 won't kill me or you. An 0-7 won't knock us out for a month of play. People have to have discipline and money management. You can't say, well, you lost 2 in a row, I'm going to double up. You're not going to last long betting. It's not going to happen that way. You got to ride it out.
Or riding or going from handicapper to handicapper. Yeah, where you find a guy who's 30-14 over his last week, and you jump aboard him, and ultimately that's not going to continue because nobody continues at that rate.
He goes 2-5 that day, and then
you're yelling. You go to the next guy, right? So
there's an expression amongst fishermen: you don't try to catch caught fish, right? When somebody catches fish over in this pond, you run over there. Well, those fish have already been caught, right? And riding the hot handicapper can often be attempting to catch caught fish.
No,
you want to jump on the handicapper before the winning streak starts, not after it's ended.
Or when this team's on a, they've covered 3 in a row. You don't want to jump in when it's 17-1 run. No, at that point, you're 0-1 and the streak is 17-2 and you're down money. You can't do that.
So as my uncle would say, Jesse and Sean, what's your hurry? But here's your coat, because we're signing off.
Here's your coat. What's your hurry? We actually said in our family, it was here's your hat. What's your hurry?
There you go. In any event, we'll be back tomorrow, all 3 of us, another college basketball show. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Don't forget, folks, give us a like at the end of the video. We certainly appreciate it. It's a small token of your appreciation toward our work. Any comments are welcomed. I won't answer any negative comments. It's okay to disagree, but be respectful when doing so, folks. And it is Xavier, not Xavier. So to that alum out there, with all due respect, thank you for bringing that to our attention, specifically my attention. Anyway, until the next time, for Jesse Schewel and Sean Higgs and Ross Benjamin, we'd like to wish each and every one of you all the very best. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care and God bless, folks.